Yes, you did speak, but you have spoken a little less than what exactly I expected you to speak, for that matter. But if you want, you can actually have a more, kind of time, and I can actually provide you kind of for more minutes, for that matter, because it's all yours, and you can actually go ahead and speak more, right? But nevertheless, that opportunity will actually come when we're having kind of more discussions and a thorough conversation based on whatever both of us arrive at. You have had your thoughts on fixed mindset and growth mindset, right? And this is actually a universal concept and theory, which cannot be transformed, or which cannot be denied, or which cannot be overturned, for that matter. It's just that we have to accept that both are important for kind of in certain way or the other, right? But one has to be prioritized over the other, right? So at the end, we'll have more conversation based on what exactly I have to say, and then what exactly how exactly you actually respond, right? So talking about growth mindset and fixed mindset, like the concept or the terminology fixed mindset itself suggests that fixed mindset is nothing but a kind of psychology of an individual, a kind of mindset basically, where the person is of the opinion that uh, the uh, the individual has got a specific skill, and that the person cannot go beyond that skill, right? That is actually fixed mindset, right? So for example, if you have expertise in xyz job, right? So you will be of the opinion that okay, you cannot go beyond that. You won't be able to handle difficult jobs, for that matter, right? Or jobs which are beyond the scope of this of whatever you have actually kind of learned, for that matter, right? So if you have got some hands of experience in xyz job, so you will always focus on that only, right? And you won't actually want to go beyond that, right? So that's your limitation, and that's actually fixed mindset, right? So a kind of mindset which doesn't allow an individual to think beyond a certain parameter, a certain kind of boundary, for that matter, that is actually a fixed mindset. While on the other hand, when we talk about growth mindset is actually the other side of the coin, right? Growth mindset basically talks about the fact that yes, the person has got limitation, but the person has got the skill and ability to go beyond his limitation that he has got, right? So for example, if you know just xyz job, all right, so you are willing to go to the next level, learn something more, get some hands-off training, right, and enhance your skills, right? So that's what you can say this growth mindset is all about. Growth mindset or open mindset basically talks about the fact that a person is not really scared, is not really afraid of his limitations. The person actually wants to go to the next level and achieve his goals, right? Achieve those skills, learn those skills which would allow him to achieve the goal that he has set for himself. So that is actually growth mindset. So growth mindset is actually needed because growth mindset is flexible in nature. It is that mindset which allows the person to work on his or her limitations. It is that mindset which makes a person feel that he has the potential, and if he or she works hard on that area, then probably the person would be able to overcome that hurdle or the limitation that the person has got into, right? So that is actually called kind of growth mindset. That is an open mindset. That's a psychology which enables an individual to work on the failures and to work on the shortcomings, and subsequently the person would be able to get to a level from where he or she can actually launch himself or herself and achieve the goals which are pretty difficult to be achieved, right? So that is actually called open mindset or growth mindset. The terminology growth itself suggests that yes, there is something good hidden in it. There is actually growth in the way we actually perceive things, right? And it's actually a mindset which makes the person think in a more kind of open and in a more kind of flexible manner, for that matter, right? So the approach of the person is extremely practical, and hence that practicality actually allows the person to think in a manner which doesn't actually limit him in some way or the other, right? So that is actually growth mindset, right? So for example, if a person who has got financial knowledge for that matter, or the person is into financial kind of segment, or the person has got some financial expertise, the same person can actually get some hands of experience and actually acquire some IT knowledge, and as a result of that the person can start working in the IT segment as well, right? So that is actually the growth mindset. Nowadays, what we find is that most of the IT companies nowadays they are hiring. In order to cut the cost of hiring and in order to ensure a stable CTC to the employees, what they do is that their strategy is to hire even those people who have lesser IT knowledge or no IT knowledge. And as a result of which, what they do is that they actually provide hands of experience to these people who have no IT knowledge or less IT knowledge. And subsequently what they do after getting these hands of experience, they start working in the IT segment as well. So that is actually what the idea here is all about. The idea here is to focus on those areas which are really you can say highly lucrative, and they are going to pay off in the near future. But in order to get into that segment, the person has to acquire some kind of skill or experience or some kind of knowledge and some kind of hands of training for that matter. And once the person is able to do so, then subsequently the person would be able to work in that segment as well. So it's just that the person works on the limitations, and as a result of that, the person is able to kind of focus on those segments which initially seems to be difficult, but able to overcome that difficulty and starts working on that, right? So that is actually the basic idea of you can say this concept of growth mindset. Fixed mindset is something which has to be shown from the organization point of view, from business point of view. If you talk about not just business point of view, from if you talk about a specific individual for that matter who has got a fixed mindset, and the person doesn't really want to come out of the kind of shackles that he has got into, then obviously the person will be limited in some way or the other, right? So if that person is limited in some way or the other, that means the person won't be able to move up the ladder, right? If a person who has actually got lesser experience in English language, right, and the person thinks that okay, he or she won't be able to handle those things which requires the knowledge of English language, then obviously the person won't be able to move ahead, right? But a person with an open mindset, you can say, or a growth mindset, would work on his or her fallacies and would try to overcome those difficulties, would try to enhance their skills in the English language or upscale their his or her level of English language, and hence would be able to speak and communicate well, right? So that is the basic idea here. The idea of fixed mindset is that people are limited by their thoughts, and the people are actually kind of literally subjugated by their knowledge that they have got. All right. So this kind of approach might actually limit the rate of success of people who have actually got this kind of thinking that they have to just focus on those areas wherein they in those areas where they have actually got some kind of speciality or some kind of experience, and they cannot go beyond that, right? Not going beyond, see, it's good that one has to focus, and I cannot actually deny the fact that one has to not focus on those things which requires experiences and skill, right? On or the person who has got expertise in a specific XYZ thing, the person should not go beyond that, right? Of course, if you focus on those areas where you have got a lot of skills and experience, you can get 100% return out of it. Okay, a person can prosper in that. But obviously, if there are certain other zones, other segments, and there are certain other jobs which requires better experiences and better skills, right? Then the person should not hesitate and feel reluctant to move to that area where the person can actually achieve better results, all right, by acquiring better skills. So acquisition of skills are just an only necessity or the only requirement for an individual, all right, to move to the next level, all right, to work on those areas which requires more skills and experiences for that matter, all right. So that is the basic idea here. Fixed mindset is just okay, but it should be shunned with the idea that if the person is able to acquire those skills, which requires some kind of better experiences, better knowledge, better kind of a mindset as well, then the person should always go ahead with that. The person should never ever hesitate to learn new skills which can enable that individual to get into those zones, to get into those segments which can pay him or her in a better way, for that matter, right? So if the return is good in future, and that requires some bit of skills, the person should always go ahead with that. So that is the basic concept that is there as far as a fixed mindset is concerned, as well as growth mindset is concerned, right? Both are I mean, this growth mindset is always necessary, but mindset is necessary to a certain extent, but it needs to be shunned when there is actually a scope to grow, when there is actually a scope to do better, and when there is a scope to kind of acquire better things in life, right? That is when we should actually shun the idea of a fixed mindset. And like I said, it is there in a person's day-to-day life as well. A student who thinks that the person cannot actually kind of do certain task, okay, which requires special skills, I think that such a student should actually shun that idea and focus on the fact that if he or she actually makes an attempt and initiative and takes some hands-off training, then of course the person can move to the next level, right? That is the basic idea. And yeah, of course, in business organizations, the concept of fixed kind of mindset doesn't really work out at all, right? Fixed mindset won't really work for any individual who is associated with any industry at this moment, especially in the kind of MNCs for that matter. A person with a fixed mindset won't really be able to survive, because this kind of industry basically requires a person to have all the necessary skills which can actually fit him into the scheme of things, right? So in currently, if you talk about IT industry for that matter, in IT industries, they require people with different types of abilities or net skills, right? And they consistently provide continuous knowledge and experiences to the people, and so that they can actually grow and they can actually do good, right, in the job that they are doing, right? So that is the basic idea here. Continuous learning is important, right? And continuous kind of impartment of training is also necessary, right? That's why there is a concept of continuous training for people, so that they can handle different types of jobs. The complexities of of jobs have actually kind of increased, and in order to handle this complexity, as well as you can say different nitty-gritties of the job that they are doing, it is important that they keep themselves updated with the current changes and transformations that are happening in their specific fields, right? So they provide continuous hands-off training to the people to keep themselves updated with the changes and transformations that are occurring. So that is actually the concept of growth mindset. So in today's industry, it's very kind of difficult for a person to survive if the person has got a kind of kind of fixed mindset for that matter, right? So I think in your industry, like if I take your example for that matter, you also are an example of growth mindset, because you are thinking from a different perspective. You want to grow in your work, in your job that you're doing, and hence you are learning English language. You have already reached close to C1 level, all right? And you are continuously in the processes of upgrading yourself, right? And as a result of which you are actually, I presume that you must be doing very good in your job that you're doing at the moment, right? Because of the fact that you are able to communicate very clearly, right? And this you have acquired because you have been here in this platform with me for so many years, for that matter, I would say, right? So that's the basic thing here. You need to make sure that you keep yourselves updated with with the requirement of your job, and because the job that you do is always in a change mode, it always keeps on transforming, and you need to keep yourselves upgraded with the changes that are happening, right? So adapting oneself with with the changes and transformations that are occurring, that is of utmost importance, right? And it's only then a person would be able to survive in the industry nowadays, especially IT. Not just IT, I think all the industries nowadays have undergone a lot of transformations, and they require people to be on their toes all the time, right? So with a fixed mindset, it's not really possible for an individual to stick around with any XYZ company, right? In private entities, it's not very difficult to make it to the top level unless you have a growth mindset, right? So that's the basic idea here, Bruno. I would like you to come up with more thoughts on this, and if you have questions or any point to discuss, let's actually have a conversation on this.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. It's good approach you reached in this discussion on fixed
Great.
mindset and fixed mindset and growth mindset. Indeed, the both ones are important. All right. Most of the time, we have to add on our daily basis. The growth mindset is really important, but we have also to think about the fixed mindset. Uh, sometimes there is something that we should not change. All right, I think we have to put on the scale the both fixed mindset and growth mindset and to understand what moment we have to act in each one of them. I think that's the big deal. All right, we have to measure. But indeed, the growth mindset, we have to adopt the growth mindset on our daily basis. I have no doubt about that because without growth mindset, most probably, as you mentioned, we will not move to the next level. And that's very important on our life, all right? Because the people that are very reluctant on doing something new, most probably they will not grow. So I think that's the big deal. All right, we have to handle or to deal with different situations that come to us, and try to turn around. That's the point. All right, like you mentioned the example. No, I've been learning English. I have been studying English for a long time. Yes, that's a fact. Uh, uh, because I need that, and also to move to the next level on my job and everything. Not only on professional life, but personal life. You know, because we are living in a globalized world. We have to be prepared to express ourselves in English language, because yes, indeed, English is a global language, and every single country that we, for any reason, go, if you know, if you have skills on English language, the possibility of doing everything is very high. You know, it's higher, actually higher than if we do not have any skills in English language. So, but that's a good example, right? That's a good example. Uh, and I think that is from my end. Over, I don't have any question. I think everything is clear. We approach it and cover all the topic. That is the topic that I really would like to talk about, because this concept of fixed and the growth mindset is very important in order to discuss and to understand advantage, disadvantage, impact, how to measure, how to handle and to deal with both of them, and how to avoid uh, to keep only one of them. All right. What I mean to that, not only fixed mindset forever, but not only a growth mindset forever. No, because indeed we have to accept, you know, that the growth mindset maybe will not be forever. You know, because there will be some moment on our life that the growth mindset will stop. That's okay for me. I do not want to change anymore because I have had I have changed a lot in the past, and now I'm good. This position, I'm good in this kind of life, and I want to keep that until the end of the life. So that what I mean is the retirement, for example. Maybe some people like that. So
Okay.
that's it. That's it from my
Understand.
end, Tanvir.
No,
Thank you.
what I could figure out, yeah, what I could understand from whatever you said is the fact that when a person actually, there's a certain stage of growth mindset as well. Probably, kind of what do you call it, the open mindset. Because if the person is actually okay at such certain stage, if a person has acquired that amount of skill that is necessary to do a job and is not
Yep,
wanting to go ahead, probably the person can stop there. Like, for example, you talked about
yep,
the time for that matter, right?
yep,
So,
yep.
you're trying to say that even growth mindset has got a stage where it has to stop, where it becomes a little fixed in nature, right?
Yep. Yes, that's it. Correct. You just translate to a better explanation, but that's correct. That's right. What I want it to mean. All right, that's
Mhm.
it. That is some stage that we already learned a lot of skills, and there is no more options. For not options, but there are plenty of skills that the
Mhm.
people reach it that they
Okay.
don't want to learn or to just to
Mhm.
keep what they already learned.
Plenty of
And
skills the person acquires, you can say. Instead of
yes,
saying
yes.
plenty of skills the person reaches, it is better to say plenty of skills the person acquires or
Hmm.
learns during his or her lifetime. Okay, that is
That's
actually
correct.
the example of you can say a growth mindset for that matter, right? Like for example, a
Yeah.
person has got no IT knowledge or no English knowledge, the person actually goes on to acquire those knowledge, okay, so that they can grow in the field that they are in, right? That is the basic idea. If you want growth in specific segments, right, which requires you to acquire better skills, then of course the person has to go for it, right? And if the person feels that with the given skills, whatever skill the person has got, whatever experiences the person has got, that is enough to get the job done. Probably, I think that is also an example of, I won't say that's actually a fixed mindset. It's a mindset which makes the person confident about his or her skills, wherein the person can actually handle the nitty gritties of the job that he's supposed to handle, right? With the given amount of skill that he already possesses, right? For example, with the amount of skill that you have, technical knowledge, whatever you have, let's say, for example, in softwares and so on and so forth, you feel that, okay, you are able to handle the nitty gritties of the job very easily, right? So in that situation, I won't say that, okay, Bruno, you have to get some software knowledge or you have to maybe learn some like, basic programming and so on and so forth. So I feel that that is actually a situation where fixed mindset, or you can say where growth mindset doesn't really apply, because the person already is in a growth stage from where or she can launch himself or herself for that matter, right?
Hmm.
Bruno?
All right. That's correct. That's right. That's what I want to mean. And yes, that's awesome. Yes, amazing, Tom. That's what we have to discuss, and what exactly means growth mindset, the fixed mindset, the impacts, and the when we have to stop. All right. In order to maybe
Absolutely.
uh, to have a fun with the family and to have other kinds of excited moments. I think that's the point. But that's for me, Tanvir, what I got to say. Thank you very much for doing this class. I'm gonna try to schedule another class in this week, tomorrow or Saturday morning,
I think tomorrow will be good.
Brazil time zone.
Okay, tomorrow, day
Yeah.
after tomorrow, also I'm available, right? So if you want
Okay.
to do it tomorrow, I'm available because way less lessons are there. You can just schedule at whatever time you want to schedule. At this time, I'm available, right? In the evening time, I'm available. so we can do it as per your preferred timing. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. See you. Have a nice night.
You too. Take care of yourself. See you again in the next lesson. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.